The throne chamber of Aurelion Prime was designed to make visitors feel small, emphasizing authority through light pillars and a humming, power-filled atmosphere. Visitors requested mercy, not power, as Princess Queen Valeth sat upon the throne, her silver crown floating above her brow. The lone human standing in the chamber, without armor, weapons, or any recognizable affiliation, merely irritated her. "You stand before the crown of 12 systems," Valeth spoke, amplifying the sound with the chamber's reverberating air. "Your ship trespassed. Your crew interfered with Imperial assets. By law, your lives are forfeit." The nobles present leaned slightly in admiration, yet still without permission. Eye contact was considered an act of submission or defiance. Elias, a civilian logistics officer and independent human trade vessel wayfarer, was the person the courtiers most feared. He bowed slightly and said, "My name is Elias Morgan," gently enough to be polite. Valeth allowed herself a thin smile, but she didn't waste any more time. "You may beg now." As expected, no begging took place. However, the human stood firm. "You misunderstand our position, human." Elias responded calmly. "The truth is, I understand perfectly." He reached into his jacket, removing only a small data slate. He placed it gently on the polished floor. "You seized our cargo, medical supplies intended for 3 border colonies. Your crew detained mine. You expected fear." As his words settled, he continued, but didn't hesitate for fear of consequences. "We walk away. We disengage." Valeth's eyes sharpened. "You cannot leave my domain. You exist because I allow it." Despite the danger, he walked away, leaving Valeth with eyes that seemed to pierce through her. The chamber erupted, guards shouting as the cold, piercing air engulfed them all. It was the first time she had ever stood so. Silence lingered in the throne chamber long after the human had gone. Princess Queen Valeth remained standing, her fingers gripping the edge of the living throne. The chamber's glyphs dimmed slowly, as if confused by the lack of violence. No execution, no screams, just absence. "Find him," she said at last. The command snapped the court back to motion. Security officers rushed from the chamber. Communications flared to life, and advisors began speaking all at once. He insulted the crown. He threatened economic retaliation. "A bluff," one noble scoffed. "Humans are fractured. They have no unified fleets." Valeth said nothing. Her gaze remained fixed on the open doorway where Elias Morgan had disappeared. She had ruled long enough to recognize false bravado. That had not been it. Within hours, reports began to arrive. Trade lanes feeding the outer colonies went quiet. Not attacked, not blocked, simply empty. Human-flagged vessels altered course without explanation. Independent haulers canceled docking permissions. Automated trade hubs sent polite notices of suspension. Temporary, indefinite, regretful. The word disengage appeared again and again in the reports. Valeth dismissed her court and retreated to the strategic chamber. There, massive star maps unfolded in the air, glowing routes slowly dimming as new data streamed in. "Explain," she demanded. Her chief analyst hesitated. "Human commerce operates on trust webs, Your Majesty. They do not need formal declarations. When one node withdraws, others follow, quietly." Valeth felt a flicker of irritation. "Then isolate them." "We tried. But our own border systems rely on human logistics for non-military supply chains, food processing algorithms, medical synthesis components." Another pause. "Maintenance crews." Her jaw tightened. A lesser empire would have panicked. Valeth did not. "Locate the human," she said. "Alive." "He has returned to his vessel," an officer replied. "Wayfarer remains docked. Engines powered. Crew intact." "Why has he not fled?" The officer looked uncertain. "Because he is waiting." Valeth dismissed the room and stood alone before the star map. Waiting, not hiding, not escaping, offering space. For the first time, the Princess Queen felt something unfamiliar twist in her chest. Not fear, calculation tinged with respect. She activated a private channel. "Open a line to the Wayfarer." The image resolved slowly. Elias Morgan appeared on the display, seated in the pilot's chair. He looked tired now. Human exhaustion, earned rather than displayed. "You requested a conversation," he said neutrally. "I did not grant you permission to leave my presence," Valeth replied. "You did not forbid it," Elias said. "And humans don't stay where they are not wanted." Valeth studied him. "You have disrupted Imperial stability." Elias nodded. "No, I revealed dependence." Silence stretched. "What do you want?" she asked. "Nothing," he said. "My crew. Our
Princess Queen Valeth did not sleep. She stood alone in the observation chamber, watching the star of Aurelian Prime burn in perfect silence. The empire had been built on inevitability, on the belief that all paths eventually led to the throne. Now one path had simply gone dark. The reports continued to arrive through the night. Not alarms, not rebellions, cancellations, delays, missed maintenance cycles, medical synthesis queues, lengthening by fractional percentages that would become crises within weeks. Nothing dramatic, nothing she could crush with fleets. Valeth closed her eyes. Power, she realized, was not only the ability to command action, it was the ability to make others choose to participate. She opened a secure channel. "Bring the human." Elias Morgan entered the chamber without guards. No chains, no escort. The throne room was absent this time. No audience, just stars and silence. "You could have executed me," Elias said quietly. "Yes," Valeth replied. "And the empire would have survived." He tilted his head. "Would it have thrived?" She did not answer immediately. "I misjudged your species," Valeth said at last. "I believed humans valued survival above all else." "We do," Elias replied. "That's why we don't kneel to systems that burn themselves out." Valeth turned to face him fully. "You came unarmed. You refused to beg. You threatened nothing. We offered clarity," he said. "You chose to look." A long pause followed. "I will release your crew," Valeth said. "Your cargo will be returned. My patrols will be ordered to treat human civilian vessels as neutral partners, not assets." Elias nodded once. "Not gratitude, acknowledgement." "And in return?" she asked. "In return," he said, "we re-engage." The word hung between them, heavier than any oath. Trade resumes. Maintenance crews return. Medical routes reopen. No treaties. No banners. Valeth felt the shift then. Not defeat. Alignment. "You walked away from a queen," she said softly. "Most would call that arrogance." Elias smiled faintly. "We call it boundaries." The Wayfarer departed Aurelian Prime within the hour. Its cargo restored. Its crew safe. Across the sector, human vessels quietly altered course once more, returning to routes they had never officially abandoned. No celebrations followed. No announcements. Only balance. Weeks later, a junior noble dared to ask the Princess Queen why humans had been granted such autonomy. Valeth answered without hesitation. "Because they do not conquer by force," she said. "They leave and let empires feel the absence." In distant space, aboard a small human vessel, Elias Morgan logged a final note in the Wayfarer's records. "Empires demand loyalty. Humans offer cooperation. The difference matters." And somewhere between the stars, a Princess Queen began ruling not through fear, but through understanding.